Hi everyone, it's Karen Cole here from Legal Minded Friends. And if you're listening today, it's because you want to know a little bit more about pre-action protocols. So if you want to take a case to court, you're going to need to know this information. About 11 years ago, I started Legal Minded Friends. I worked for the government for many years litigating cases for the government, and often I would get calls from citizens' advice asking me if I could help people that wanted to represent themselves in court. So Legal Minded Friends is all about helping you if you want to represent yourself in court. We give you some information so that you can make decisions yourself. So how can I make the civil practice directions interesting? And with the pre-action protocols, this is within the civil practice directions. I will give an example of how the pre-action protocols work, as they are in conjunction with the industry that you would be suing and the government good practice. So an example would be, prior to taking a case to court, you would want to make sure you've communicated with the industry that you are trying to recover money from. So the pre-action protocol would be to provide all the information to the other side, disclose everything, so that they can make a decision and give you what's called as a final decision. And if, let's say, you're not happy with that final decision, you should also try alternative dispute resolution, such as going to the ombudsman. Or the other thing you should also do is make sure you've gone through the complaints procedures with the company that you're trying to recover a debt from. So let's say you've done all the procedures before court and you're still not happy with the outcome. Then that's when you would do a letter claim, which is a letter before court action. And that would be for another day's discussion, as there are lots of different rules and procedures that you should follow with that as well. So before I end, I'll give you a little example of a case that I dealt with, where in discovery we found out that it's probably not a good idea to go to court. So a school contacted me when I was working for the government, and they said they know the milkman is when the milkman's driving down the lane, they have been bashing into the school, and it's costing the school a fortune to keep fixing it. So they wanted to take action against the delivery service. And so when I started asking questions like, well, how do you know it's the milkman? And they said, well, we've got a witness. So the other thing you're going to find out in pre-action protocol is, how much is it going to cost to go to court? And if your case isn't strong, then you want to weigh up the pros and cons, because you don't want to end up spending a fortune in court if the value of the claim isn't very much. So I said, well, how much is the value of the claim? And they said a couple hundred. Well, that's not really worth going to court for, but they could do some alternative measures, such as putting in a CCTV camera, because their eyewitness, well, lots can happen with an eyewitness, and you shouldn't want to base all your case on that. Plus, you should do some prevention measures. So I said maybe you could put a sign on the lane to say how wide it is, and please park your vehicle here if you're too wide to get through. So you want to do some reasonable measures so that if you do end up in court, the person says, well, I didn't know that you couldn't drive through there. Also, the claims for the insurance were too expensive. So this is also a problem. You might find that you can have different ways to recover money, but it becomes too expensive to do that. So before you take a case to court, be sure to know the pre-action protocols, and it's really important to get legal advice before you start a claim, as claims can be very expensive. A lot of cases are settled before court action, so please contact legal-minded friends to discuss your personal case, and we can help you if you are a litigant in person and want to represent yourself with more information. Okay?